The Social Dilemma, directed by Jeff Orlowski, was made in 2020 in the Netflix documentary. In short, this documentary tells us about the negative impacts that was never imagined or thought by us, the users, from the perspective of social networks expert sites. This movie starts with an interesting scene where the experts of several social media platforms was introduced. The introductory scene engages us is as it positions the experts at the same level as the mass users, saying that in the beginning they are drawn into the addiction of social media and later confesses and apologizes to the watchers due to its program technology. The addiction was getting drawn into the notifications of likes, comments, which at first was thought to be the upside of the platforms that connect people throughout the world. Facebook's like button inventor, Justin Wonstein, stated that it was purposely to spread positivity around the world. However, this connection also being used to smoothen the operation of criminal and negative internet actions such as fake news, criminals, drugs, and terrorists. It also created unintended consequences, such as where a user found problem themselves in a sad and depressed state when they did not achieve the notifications preferred. Though it sounds negative, Jaron Lanier from the Conscience of Silicon Valley said that there is one hidden problem, that is addiction. It is because the designated program was developed much more than providing the preferred contents. It also records user personal data and predicts the user's future actions. This was seen where the documentary presented in the scene of the work of the AI within the platforms in choosing and presenting the contents based on the user likes. The AI is highly sophisticated, and even it could learn and process a new information in such a much faster pace where it surpasses the ability of its designer and developer. And certain user interface was also designed to make people stay for a long time. For example, the refresh feature by pulling down from the top feed, making it feel like a trigger from the casino machine. This is making it the effect of persuasive or manipulative technology that creates an unconscious repeated habit from its users. This persuasive and manipulative technology changes the way how humans communicate with each other as well as its deceptive culture of communication. For example, the documentary depicts it within the scene where a family dinner is ruined due to the addiction with smartphones and social media, and the scene where a high school student gets excited or upset from the notifications as well as the posted picture from friends in Facebook. The persuasiveness and manipulativeness was projected without the users realizing it. Another form of this is where it is stated in the documentary that Google is not just a search bar. It can be seen where, for example, in the North American continent, when you type in search suggestion for climate change, the suggestion search holds and not real. Meanwhile, if you search in the African region countries such as Nigeria, the result will be different, such as climate change is real and disrupting the planet. Though it is addictive, persuasive, and unconsciously manipulative, the irony is found where the experts, and developers themselves could not escape from the holes that they created within the platforms. This is due to the integrated design of applications that are making daily lives more convenient where related private information and content is served and represented continuously. This is called a rabbit hole system. So if you choose the recommendation video from YouTube, and if you click it, then it will recommend again to click the video, and when you click it again, it will show up again and show up again and show up again, and that's making the video that you like will appear often in your feeds. And this is dangerous because it could make polarization around the world. Other than that, this is also utilized by the government to influence the outcome of the midterm elections in the US. And in the example in Asia, we could see in the documentary that the government utilizes Facebook to make the public opinion is favorable toward the governments rather than the Rohingyas. This is also apparent in the example of a country outside the movie, Indonesia, where the current government is trying to convince the public that the recently passed omnibus law does not harm the interests and the rights of Indonesian workers. Seeing these issues, it could be said that it poses democracy setback. Overall, after watching the documentary, what I could imply is that the existence of social media platforms could not be said as good or bad, but rather the platforms itself are neutral. It all depends on the utilization of the platforms, which could bring both good and bad from and towards civil societies around the world. Although it possesses the characteristics of addicting, persuasive, and unconsciously manipulative, the negative consequences could be limited, mitigated, and avoided. To realize this would not work if only the civil society is working alone. It must be collaboratively working hand in hand with many sectors such as governments, NGOs, enterprises, and so on. If the technology could be utilized to predict the behavior of the users, it should be utilized in the favor of good intention to actually help strengthening and peace and democracy around the world. And then, from the review, the questions what I would ask is, why did social media platform were created in the first place? Was the intention of creating a social media platform to connect people, or is it to monetize personal data? And third one is, does the existence of social media platforms improve democracy or worsen? Fourth, is the documentary effective enough in educating its audience regarding social media platforms' ugly truth? And the last one is, does the advice given by the experts in preventing negative impacts of social media platforms is effective enough? Thank you.